We wouldn't dare play the music, but all you've done is make a more jazzed up 20 seconds of logo.
Presbyterians are called God's frozen people. Wouldn't swing if you hung 'em.
Look at this tractor on the beach. What's the deal with that? Just want to send the fact that it has been way too long to not have a first build Wesley Snipes theatrical release. Best I can tell, the last one was Blade Trinity. You can't let a great actor's last film he had the first billing in be f***ing Blade Trinity. I'm pretty sure I bought a parental advisory shirt after seeing Woody Harrelson wear one in this movie, and 31 years later, I'm not super happy about that realization. The singing trio bookends the movie, giving it a cool and almost fairy tale-like vibe. Here's a sin for not starting the movie with Once Upon a Time in Venice Beach. Movie is now just showing us other things white men can't do. Also, I can't tell if this metaphor mural means that Billy is the Titanic or the iceberg. Taking a nap in a public place on Venice Beach with cash in your pocket. The fact that Billy still has his shirt on when he wakes up, not to mention everything else on his person, is all the bullshit. Also, using a basketball as a pillow and sleeping with your head at this angle. Not sure how Billy will be able to play basketball if he can't move his f***ing neck. Discount John Goodman.
It's hard work. Hard goddamn work for another man to make another man look so bad.
It might be a sin to have this much charisma in a tank top and cycling hat, but Wesley Snipes is so good in this movie, I'm forced to remove a sin instead.
Hey, baby, let me tell you something. I don't mean to brag, but I'm the greatest. Vanity.
Also, never call a woman baby that you are not in a relationship with or the father of. And even then, make sure the person on the receiving end of the nickname is okay with it.
George, your mother's an astronaut.
Yo, he talked about your mama, man.
Not calling George's mother a rocket man.
Me saying that your mother's an astronaut is just another way of saying that you all f***ed up.
I assume this is meant to be something about getting high as a kite. However, in the age of billionaire space tourists, it just doesn't work anymore.
We lose to you, I'm gonna go home and kill myself.
Is a line said in this movie.
This, you fat potato sandwich eating motherfucker.
Damn, so much of the smack talk in this scene has aged into compliments and things you'd get at a food truck festival in Brooklyn.
Hey, man, what's the score?
Sydney conveniently approaches Billy for the score when he just as easily could have asked this guy.
My mama so fat she fell over, broke her leg, and gravy poured out.
That would be a compound fracture. Also, gross.
Hey, look, take Billy Ho here.
Billy's whole plan relies on them asking him to play. They pick this guy, and the rest of this movie doesn't happen.
The sun even shines on a dog's ass some days.
Since the majority of dogs go outside to use the restroom, I'm gonna go with the sun shines on a dog's ass almost every day. Why is this expression?
Anybody can win the lottery.
Aha! But you can't win if you don't play. Booyah!
We gonna eat a sizzler? Damn right. We gonna eat a turkey.
Reminded me that I never got the chance to go to a Sizzler, and currently the closest one is in Puerto Rico.
But you might not get another shot.
All right, if you insist.
Wait, is Sydney saying that if he makes his first shot, then Billy won't get a chance to match him? The bet just ends? If that's the case, why doesn't the bet end when Billy makes the first shot? I don't understand Sydney's threat, no matter how mild it may be. This white guy over here looking ready and willing to jump on your taxes, using free ice as a selling point for your hotel motel.
How much money did you make today?
A Rosie by any other name would not have been as sweet.
What do you want?
I got a message for you. Brady Bunch.
Writers thought that Billy asking the question
How'd you find me?
meant that they were off the hook for providing an answer.
You comfortable?
Nah, but you know, futon is actually better for your back.
My back from my 20s just entered the chat and asked if this kind of trash talk was necessary off the court. If you're gonna post up behind the hoop like this, you certainly don't do it with your hands in your pockets. Not if you value your sunglasses or your face.
Look at the chump, man. Give him the chump.
This actually works because racial stereotypes in the 90s were like the Force.
Its energy surrounds us and binds us.
I think what Yoda is trying to say is that this story acts like everyone would make the same exact assumption about Billy and then follow that up with the same exact decision to pick him as Sydney's teammate, as if Chris Mullen, John Stockton, and God forbid Kurt Rambis just don't exist in this universe. Also, even if this wasn't a hustle, I'd say this guy looks like a cop, and I certainly would not go to my car and get a gun with Detective Marty Hart hanging around. There's being used to crazy happening, and then there is just not reacting. Even if they know this part of the screenplay is based on actual events, any guy with a ski mask and a gun is at minimum unpredictable enough for you to continue your conversation at another location.
Hey, give me your money.
Raymond, that's you.
No, this ain't Raymond.
I believe this side quest to the corner store was designed to be comedy, but I am unsure if comedy happened.
I was trying to kill myself, just stab myself right in the heart.
This is the second time in this movie a character has referred to killing themselves inside of all their smack talk, and that is 2 times too many. Passing the ball, passing the ball, passing the ball. Excitement?
Point game, that means one more point, man. We win this.
I understand.
$500.
It was originally going to be for $500, but Raymond was only able to get $250, so they are no longer playing for $500.
I'm going to my car. Get my other gun. Shoot everybody's ass.
Threatening to violence everyone's butt. Also, Raymond's endgame is to get his money back, but he says this like everyone isn't going to immediately run away.
Yo, took Raymond niggas to the hole. baby.
Prematurely celebrating the defeat of a guy who still very well may want to shoot and kill both of you. Sydney is most likely going to run into Raymond again at some point on the courts. The cycling hat to actual cycling ratio of this film is egregious. We wouldn't dare play the song, but Purple Haze by Jimi Hendrix launches Sydney and Billy into an argument instead of being a unifying force, and this is an outcome that I refuse to believe.
There's a difference between hearing and listening. See, white people, y'all can't hear Jimmy. You listen.
There is a difference, but if you're talking about giving thoughtful attention versus the function of perceiving, then you mean that they hear but don't listen. But if you mean they give attention but don't appreciate, then you mean listening but not hearing. But if you mean taking the time to debate semantics instead of emotionally connecting with what you are saying, then you're just talking about me being good at CinemaSins. I'll take the L, but I'm still adding a sin.
Yeah, let me off the Trump Towers, baby.
Yes, Trump was an annoying part of pop culture for many years before he decided to steal the Declaration of Independence. And I'm perfectly comfortable holding this kind of throwaway reference partly responsible for that.
You got a fine woman there, man. Hey, you keep your hands off.
This forced and ridiculous defensive posturing Billy has whenever Sidney mentions what he thinks of Gloria is forced and ridiculous.
Makes me think about making love to you.
This particular scene contains a lap dance.
I want you to connect with me through sharing and understanding the concept of dry-mouthedness.
Sharing and understanding the concept of dry-mouthedness.
I don't like the word screw, okay? I prefer make love or f***. Screwing is for carpenters.
Like Jesus didn't also f***. Also, call it what you will, you are looking at long hours working with wood. Would you prefer a cabinet maker, a Christmas tree salesman, or my cousin Joe who works the lumber department at Home Depot? Gloria? I'm not sure why a lot of comedies around this time felt the need to have a subplot where one of our main characters owed a loan shark or something along those lines. It rarely, if ever, added anything to the movie, and much like in this one, feels more like a way to pad the runtime out than anything of actual substance.
Me and any guy out here take you.
Well, then how much you want to roll?
We're going to find out this is a setup, and they are all three hustling Billy, but Billy isn't here yet. So why is Sidney putting on this kind of a show?
I want that guy.
Setup or not, the idea that they were able to time this fake dust-up with the exact moment Billy would be coming down these stairs from the train station is f***ing ludicrous. And my next issue with this entire setup is that this motherfucker could have at least let his girlfriend in on the scam so she didn't get so upset about him taking her diamond. How do any of these guys have an actual girlfriend? Because they are all the most asshole-ish of assholes. Scene subverts the main premise of the movie by showing a white man jumping.
Go back to SeaWorld.
Acting like going to SeaWorld is some form of punishment. I hear it's quite lovely this time of year. They have dolphins.
39 is the answer. What is the question?
What is the episode of Star Trek The Next Generation where Picard kills a time double of himself from 6 hours in the future? No? Well, that's what you get for not giving a category.
Honey, you got set up. You got hustled by Sidney.
So if Billy got hustled by Sidney and these other guys and lost $1,700...
$1,700? Billy!
And Sidney fronted all the money before Billy showed up.
You can pick any of these stiffs out here. Anybody. $1,700.
That means Billy had to give Sidney the money before the game to be invested. And since Sidney only put $1,700 on the line, there are some important questions that are not being answered here. Did Billy give Sidney all the money for this game, and why would he do that? Or did they each put in half of that, but Gloria considers it a loss of $1,700 because she expected the money they put in to be double? It's a minor confusion that could be cleared up if the movie went with a little more dialogue and a little less basketball. Also, whether they hustled Billy for $1,700 or $850, the split at the end of that would have to be three ways, making each person's take either $567 and change or $283 and change. Regardless of what the amount is on the line, the more profitable hustle is winning the game and going home with half the earnings. Now, there are a number of arguments that might explain why this hustle makes more sense than the more profitable one. So the sin, as always, is the prisoner's dilemma.
He said he was full of shit.
Well, he's full of shit and he's a good guy.
I know Billy's not supposed to be the sharpest tool, but he is supposed to be an expert at hustling. So the fact that he doesn't believe for a second that he could have been hustled by Sidney is, well, unbelievable.
Let me explain, all right? But the men's rules are very simple.
Mansplaining men's rules, which is pretty much the equivalent of mansplaining mansplaining. And I really hate this scene.
Sometimes when you win, you really lose. And sometimes when you lose, you really win.
Also known as the Mike Brady rules to live by.
Winning and losing is all one big organic globule from which one extracts what one needs.
I think you just described Earth.
Let me tell you something. I don't care about art, okay? All I care about is getting out of the damn Vista View apartment building because there ain't no vista, there ain't no views, and there sure as hell ain't no vista of no views.
Rhonda should have played a bigger part in this movie.
I got a gun in my hand. What the f*** is wrong with you?
Being asked what the f*** is wrong with you by the guy who has a gun in his hand at a friendly gathering to watch a basketball game.
Bought a car from the Stookie brothers for $3,000. Turned out to be a piece of shit and I didn't want to pay. So they told Billy Unless he got the money back for them, they would cut me up.
Not explaining how you bought a car from the Stookies without paying for it. They don't seem like the type of businessmen willing to work with you on financing. As in the Raymond that tried to slice up both of you and then went back to get his second gun to shoot both of you? Why are they not more concerned about his presence?
You got that big Z in your fro, man.
Yet not seen here. The fro. All I see is a big Z cutting through these waves, making me think that Surf's Up was partially inspired by White Men Can't Jump.
Take your ass back to Mayberry and tell Aunt B she better have my bean pies or I'ma kick her ass.
Threatening to kick Aunt B's ass. That's Aunt Motherfucking B you're talking about, Joel from Scream 2.
My man ain't getting nothing.
Oh! Movie made a younger me believe that basketball was some kind of currency, but was a little vague on exactly how good you had to be for it to be accepted at all major retailers.
You. Good, me.
Yeah,
Good.
Dialogue from my screenplay, White Men Can't Hump, somehow makes its way into this movie.
Stop them before we lose our sponsors.
This fucking guy.
Why don't you dunk?
Based on the way Billy was approaching the basket, even if he could dunk, he didn't necessarily need to at that point. His layup made just as much sense. It's as if the writer was thinking, oh shit, this movie is called White Men Can't Jump, and we haven't actually explained why yet, so I'll just throw in some force-fed dialogue so we can get to that right after the tournament sequence. Billy bricks this shot, and the ball is coming right back to him, but some sloppy editing makes it look like it was going toward flight the entire time. And nothing is more stereotypically white than my overwhelming focus on rebounding.
How many setting illegal picks?
Movie showed no pick whatsoever, so I guess we're just shouting basketball terms now.
She's gonna love my ass.
I'm not sure how winning 2,500 helped shape the structure of your ass in a more Gloria-loving way, but we can all dream.
No, I mean, you keep telling everybody I can't stuff it.
I only say that to get underneath your skin, man.
But has Sidney been telling everyone that Billy can't dunk? The 2 times he's mentioned it was when he was talking directly to Billy and simply asking why he didn't dunk. We haven't seen Sidney tell anyone in this movie that Billy can't dunk.
The reason I don't jam in a game, all right, is because it's like showboating for the sake of showboating.
White baller espouses the virtue of fundamentals cliche.
A white man wants to win first, look good second. A black man wants to look good first, win second.
God damn, Billy can't just be satisfied with winning the game. He needs to also be convinced that his game is superior. It's a feeling of inadequacy that leads him to say this race is shit right to Sidney's face. And it also leads to the memorable scene of him losing all his money once again over a dumb bet to prove himself. It's tragic. And we empathize with him, but we also know he got exactly what he deserved. This scene is great.
Billy, listen to me.
What?
White men can't jump.
Roll credits. What even is this place? Why is this plot convenient basketball hoop here? It would be one thing if this was a park, but they seem to have found the remnants of a store that sold new and used Christmas trees. Rhonda is kneeling here instead of sitting where her plate is because the director thought this kiss needed a higher degree of difficulty and a fire hazard.
No, Billy. What the is it? There is no it.
Tell that to the citizenship of Derry, Maine.
I'm overflowing with more useless goddamn information than any human being on this fucking planet.
Challenge accepted, Gloria. Challenge accepted.
Why don't you get in that truck?
Were the Stookie brothers watching all this go down between Billy and Gloria? Where were they hiding when Gloria and Billy were out on the street? Didn't they have beef with Gloria as well? Why did they let her get away?
This is what happens to people who don't come through.
This is an absurdly unbelievable amount of incriminating evidence to keep on your person, and it's only here to set up the fake out later in the movie.
Maravich, my ass. I got your pistol right here, Billy.
Were they actually talking about Pete Maravich in that van? Or are the writers just name-dropping one of the white basketball players we all know?
All the game shows are done on my lot, baby. All of them.
That is genius, Sidney. She's been trying to get on that lot for weeks.
And somehow this will work. Robert works security at the same lot they filmed Jeopardy, and he's able to get Gloria on the show immediately. You have to take a test to get on Jeopardy. And even if you get called after that, you have to do interviews and test runs, but somehow Gloria is on Jeopardy within just a few days because her soon-to-be ex-boyfriend knows a security guard. Not only is it idiotic, it's 100% insulting to the character of Gloria, who would clearly earn her spot on the show with just her brain if given a chance. But no, the loser boyfriend has to come in and rescue the day.
I'll owe you.
The Godfather did a lot of great things for the world of cinema. Having a character in what seemed like every other movie released after doing a terrible Brando impersonation is not one of those great things.
Here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek.
Alex Trebek is no longer in our living rooms every afternoon, and man, that sucks. At least the movie won't do something as stupid as have one of these categories be foods that start with the letter Q.
And finally, foods that start with the letter Q.
Damn it!
What is Mount Vesuvius?
Ooh, I'd better get a ruling on that one. Our judges indicate that that's close enough.
Well, that is just unbelievable. These are the same asshole judges that ruled against a guy for not being British enough with his pronunciation of Wimbledon.
What is Wimbledon?
In this shot, Gloria has 5,100 showing above her name, but in the previous shot, it was 8,300. Jeopardy seems to be pulling some shenanigans, and I hate shenanigans.
His reign was the shortest on record in Gloria again.
Gloria did not let the late, great Alex Trebek finish the question. Therefore, by the rules of Jeopardy, she would not be granted the money for answering. But she does get the money, and just this movie's bastardized version of Jeopardy.
Even if you don't know what the hell she's talking about, just listen.
What happened to...
There's a difference between hearing and listening.
Just saying hearing Jimi Hendrix, but only listening to your girlfriend sounds sexist.
I said she doesn't want to see you. Jesus. Flopped.
There's another door, man. You're on your own.
The writers really maxed out their creativity with the addition of this second door 5 feet from the other door that happens to access the same room and happens to be unlocked.
I will never bring you water when you're thirsting in our bed.
This works. Quentin Tarantino's White Men Can't Jump.
Me.
While it's something that happens every now and then, cursing in front of babies will always get you a sin. Also, Raiders fans. I'm trying to feel bad about Gloria and Billy's financial situation, but why are they wasting money on things like bikes and roller skates? Have they even paid the Stuckey brothers yet?
Yeah, we can take them, but it costs $2,500 to get in.
I understand that this movie ending on anything other than Sydney and Billy playing basketball is a pipe dream, and Billy doesn't deserve to be with Gloria regardless, but this is a super dick move from Sydney, especially considering Sydney has plenty of friends that can play just as well, if not better than Billy, that he could team up with. He doesn't need Billy for this.
Are you seriously thinking about playing with my money?
It might not help, but I find it ridiculous that Billy doesn't at least try going with the I'm trying to help Sydney save his marriage approach that Gloria might try to understand. So Sydney fakes that he's going one way and King or Duck falls for it as Sydney turns the opposite direction and makes the basket. But since Sydney's fake centers him up with the basket, King/Duck, with as much skill as this movie has touted these two for having, should not have tried to block a direction where the basket wasn't even within reach. The number of times I sat the bench in my youth basketball league because I refused to stop attempting this through the legs layup during the games.
14-13, point game.
The movie doesn't even attempt to give us an idea of what the score is during the game itself, so there's zero drama attached to these final score announcements. The movie makes this game feel as important as any NBA championship, or the game they played to save that village in the air up there. So White Men Can Jump? This is very confusing because the title of this movie is White Men Can't Jump. So this movie title is as much of a lie as the possibility of Woody Harrelson dunking a basketball. Also, this is the most ludicrous scene in a sports movie since Roy Hobbs broke the clock at Wrigley Field with a walk-off home run, even though it was an away game. Premature celebration, at least in the case of Billy.
Okay, Frankie, that's enough. That's good for you guys?
What is this bullshit?
I mean, hell, you can put a cat in the oven, and that don't make it a biscuit.
Mental note to scratch off the cat biscuit recipe idea when I'm done sitting this movie.
I went to a white disco recently, and I watched the white people dance. Y'all can't dance.
For me, that whole audition was something I would expect to hear outside Magic Mountain.
My name ain't Chump, it's
John Cocktoast.
Hey guys, is this the Venice Beach Courts? I mean, is this the only one?
Kiss my Converse.
Oh, you look like the girl Cindy.
You still slipping the juice.
I've been taking these Huggies and whatever cash you got.
I want you to connect with me through sharing and understanding the concept of tri-mouthedness.
You on drugs?
We're kicking every gay ass out here. I don't say that pejoratively, I say it hopefully.
Look, Billy, you just won it. Let me give you some words of advice.
Always use it together. Because a vibrator is a very powerful thing, man.